Hey guys, and welcome to my defense about my paper. My paper has to do with paleoconservatism and neoconservatism. And so, what's that have to do with economics, right? So, my original idea was to look at NAFTA and draw out differing economic principles from the debate happening around NAFTA, specifically looking at conservatives. What I came to find is that there were really two schools of thought, kind of a pro free trade, pro NAFTA idea, and then there was this protectionist anti NAFTA idea. But the arguments on the conservative side against NAFTA were not based on economics. They were based more on cultural and social arguments. And so I had to go back and see if I can't bring out an economic argument on that side. And there were some, but the main argument for paleoconservatives was that it will socially impact the United States in a negative way. They viewed it as a continued attack on tradition, on social norms. They saw it as a continuing growth of centrality within the government. And so they saw all these things as problems. On the other side, you had the neoconservatives. Neoconservatives had come to prominence in the conservative movement in the 1980s. They adopted supply side economics, but that was not their main idea. They were more focused on foreign policy, they were anti Stalinists, they were Cold War warriors. That was their main idea. They believed in this idea of democratic capitalism. And that was a book published by Michael Novak in the 1970s. Irving Kristol, the godfather of neoconservatism, pushed the idea that capitalism could be used as a tool in the Cold War. And so this theory that you can use economic principles as a tool in the Cold War to further their cause was very successful. So by taking on more free market ideas, although not central to their ideology, ended up pushing them to be ubiquitous in the conservative movement. Paleoconservatives, on the other hand, had never had these large funders. They never had these large think tanks like the neocons had, like the Heritage Institute, American Enterprise Institute. They had smaller publishers like Chronicles, who I looked into a lot for this work. But really, they never attained the political or intellectual power in conservatism that the neocons did during this time. That kind of changed in the 1990s with Pat Buchanan. Pat Buchanan, while not calling himself a paleoconservative at that time, has now come to look back and view himself as one. And the message he was espousing during that time, it's clear to see that the things he was talking about in his 1992 run versus George Herbert Walker Bush, and the arguments he made in his Americans Against NAFTA speeches and the articles he wrote about NAFTA, that he was not making these economic arguments. In fact, for paleoconservatism, it is never economics that's central to the issue, right? And that's what's so different about them from modern conservatism, even neoconservatism. It's that economics is a side issue. It can be used as a tool, but it is not the central concern. And so when Buchanan was arguing against NAFTA, he would say yes, it would probably take manufacturing jobs out, but that was not his main point, nor was it the main point of many other paleoconservatives. It's that NAFTA would continue to erode the culture of the United States. And that was their big problem. It was all focused on culture, on tradition. They saw that modernity is really a large problem, and any kind of ideas or ideology that is founded in modernity is what they call a radical ideology. It cannot be based in tradition if it's based in modernity. So that was their main problem with the neoconservative movement. And all these ideas come out and they're showcased in the NAFTA debate, and they're showcased in Pat Buchanan's 92 run. And that's what I focused on here. And so, in order to do that, I looked at a number of books by Buchanan, articles by him, as well as uh, Chronicles, which is like I said, a paleoconservative magazine. We also have, on the neoconservative side, there was National Review. Although not only neoconservative, they did put a number of neoconservative as well as some paleoconservative articles in there. But you also have commentary. Irving Kristol is central to this, so he has a number of books about this. Michael Novak. There are so many pieces and cogs in this that piecing it all together was such an interesting and rewarding task. And I hope you've been able to kind of garner what my idea was through this video here. And so I want to thank you for watching.